Avicenna is the single most important philosopher in the Arabic tradition. Born in 980 near a village just outside of Bukhara, today's Uzbekistan. He's significant because he purposefully marked himself out as a philosopher rather than an Islamic theologian, choosing to follow Greek wisdom and the path of reasoning and proof. Avicenna considered himself a follower of Aristotle, producing many encyclopedias based on his works. Yet at the same time, he also disagreed with many of Aristotle's doctrines, one of those being his conclusions on the relationship between mind and body, solidifying himself as a truly independent thinker. Aristotle claims that the body and mind of humans are not two separate things or substances in his words, but one single unit, stating that the mind is the form of the body. It's because of these statements that most scholars conclude that Aristotle did not think it possible to survive the death of the body. Avicenna, on the other hand, thought the body and mind to be two distinctly different things. Like Plato, he believed the body to be merely a vehicle for transporting the mind or self around the material world, and that when it was destroyed, the sense of being, or feeling I am, would inhabit another body. Descartes had the same idea, who created a thought experiment to prove a sense of awareness beyond anything material. In it, he asked us to imagine ourselves being followed around by a demon, who was trying to deceive us of everything that we could possibly be deceived of. Descartes eventually concludes that this demon could very well deceive us of just about anything, except for one thing, the fact that we exist. Avicenna's flying man experiment was very similar, and reached identical conclusions. He wants to examine what we would know if we were effectively robbed of our senses, and could not depend on them for information. He asks us to imagine this. Suppose you have just come into existence, and had the same level of intelligence. Suppose too that you are blindfolded and floating midair, and your limbs are separated from each other, so you cannot touch anything. Suppose you are entirely without any sensations. Despite all of this, you would still know that you yourself exist. But what is this self that we feel ourselves to be? It cannot be any parts of the body because we do not know that we have any. The self that we affirm is existing does not have any length or breadth or depth. It has no extension or physicality. If we were able to imagine, for example, a hand, we would not assume that it belongs to this self that you know exists. It follows from this that the human self, what you are, is distinct from the body, or anything physical. If you've seen my self-aware screen video, you might notice that Ramana Maharshi offered a similar thought experiment, and conveyed the same conclusions about the nature of the self. We are not the contents of the screen, but the screen itself.